Major League Rugby's second season kicks off right here at Gold Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana, as the Toronto Arrows face our NOLA Gold. The Arrows are Canada's first ever professional rugby team, while the Gold enter their second full season in the Crescent City. So stay tuned for some exciting rugby action. It's the NOLA Gold on CST, coming up next. Live from Gold Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana, Cox Sports Television is proud to present NOLA Gold Rugby. Today, the Gold play host to the Toronto Arrows. It's a beautiful day here in the Crescent City, and we can't wait for the second season of Major League Rugby right here in New Orleans, Louisiana. The Gold play host, like I said before, to the Toronto Arrows, and I have two of the best in the business to call this game with me. We can't wait once again. Mark Sabina, who is a Australian national, former great player over there, and of course our local rugby legend, Ian McNulty. Ian, let's start with you because, hey, listen, this Gold team, they're in their second season. They had a decent year last year. They had some close losses, but they brought some great players in, particularly internationally.
Yeah, they do. This is a really diverse team in its second season. They've got some returning core members, but they brought in a lot of internationals, as you said. It's going to be really interesting to see how this team gels coming into the season. Two they're going to be looking at in particular, Scott Gale and Con Foley, both from Brisbane, Australia. The coaches are really looking at these two to be some playmakers. You know, Foley spent much of his career playing sevens, came over to 15s. Scott Gale is your fly half. Look for a lot of continuity between those two. Let's see what they can do on the pitch today.
Yeah, they certainly are the playmakers of this team. They played together for about 5 or 6 years, but about the Arrows, they may be in their first year in MLR, but these guys have been playing together for a while.
They have, Scott, and a lot of international experience, a lot of Canadian national players in their team, and they've had a fantastic preseason as well. Very challenging, very successful, 5 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, and they played against a lot of MLR teams as well. So they're well prepared for this match today. In particular, we look at the 10 and 12 combination of Sam Malcolm and Jamie Leveridge. Malcolm hailing from New Zealand. He played for the Manawatu Turbos, and he played inside centre there, so you know that he can tackle. And at number 12, Jamie Leveridge, 24 years of age, another young gun, born in the Cayman Islands, and he's a big lad, 6'2", 220 pounds. So expect him to be a handful for the NOLA Gold defence today.
Like we said before, it is a gorgeous day. The crowd is getting excited, and so are we. Coming up next, it's Gold versus Arrows on CST. Welcome back to Gold Stadium as the NOLA Gold make their grand entrance, Saints-like, into their stadium right now to start the MLR second season. And look at the guys go. Let's look at the starting lineups for the Gold.
And that's the NOLA Gold, powered by NOLA LED. This is a great-looking team this year. A lot of new players, some returning veterans. Eric Howard, your captain. He's your hooker. Look for him on the field today. Tristan Blewett, he's making his first appearance outside of South Africa at outside center for the Gold. And then Holden Younger, a real leader on the field.
Let's look at the arrows.
Yes, Scott, look at this. Number 7, keep an eye out for John Moonlight, 31 years of age. He's one of the Arrows' most experienced players with 23 international appearances for Canada. Equally impressive is Lucas Rumball, his back row partner at number 8, with 26 caps for Canada at only 23 years of age. And keep an eye out for Jack Evans, only 21 years of age. They call him Soup Sandwich in the number 15 jersey. Grew up playing his rugby in Wales and has had some professional experience with Gloucester and the Scarlets of Llanelli.
Let's stand by for kickoff, and here we go. The second season of MLR at Gold Stadium begins right now.
Referee Scott Green calls time on, and it is the opening match of this Major League Rugby. NOLA Gold hosts Toronto Arrows. Ball now just coming down on the other side of the 22-meter line. The men in blue asked to bring it out of their red zone. Little box kick coming in from Ferguson. Stays in. And now the counter-attack from the Gold. Their first attacking opportunity of the season. Let's see what they can do. Stepping in is Foley. New signing from Australia. Coming in field now. That's Howard, the captain. Brought down right on the halfway line. Same way for the Gold. Lovely pass out there, threads the needle. That was Blewett. Now they're in the tram tracks. NOLA Gold showing some patience early, keeping ball in hand. It is a beautiful day for running rugby today. And the Gold putting it through the hands now. Eloff out wide now, little dummy, and now gives out to the number 14, Moppin. Still going, shrugs off one. Great hands from Dolan, gets it back inside. The first try, and the Gold. It is their first try of this season.
What a way to kick off the season.
Mark, NOLA Gold could not be happier with the way that first possession went up. What a quick statement that NOLA Gold just made right there. Moving the ball, working back and forth between the forwards and backs, showing some of the strengths that I know the coaches were hoping to show off in this game, and they did it without wasting any time at all. Not even 2 minutes off the clock, and managed to put a beauty right there, almost into the uprights too. Great positioning for the kicker.
Yes, and Scott Gale, 24 years of age, hailing from Brisbane, Australia. Had 5 years of pro rugby experience in Australia and Japan. As Eloff steps up to add the extra points.
Gold 7, Toronto Arrows
One of those players we talked about just in the intro there, Mark. Australian coming over with joining a few of his countrymen on this team, including their coach Nate Osborne, also an Aussie. Wow, that's a pretty impressive debut, I have to say.
See Eloff there on your screen. Had some complications last season with illness. But he is back and healthy and ready to rock for the NOLA Gold as they bring possession back now. Plenty of confidence after an early score against this new team from Canada. The Toronto Arrows wearing blue on the left of your screen. Now the kick coming in from Gale. Equally impressive with ball on boot. There's a reply from Evans, the Welshman. Eloff stepping, still going, nearly breaks a tackle, gets a great offload away. Up now over the 40-meter line. The Gold making their intentions felt here early. Still keeping ball in hand. That's Eric Howard, the captain, busy in this first stanza. Still keeping the ball alive. They're doing a great job, the Gold, keeping the defense guessing, Creeping offside, Scott Green points his arm, says be careful. Now comes back midfield. That's Thompson with a little assistance from his forwards. Haven't really progressed in the last two phases, but that's a nice little slip through from Stewart. Support comes in, might have been turned over, it has. So the Arrows now with an opportunity. They haven't had much of the possession at all in this first 5 minutes. And it is a penalty, first penalty of the match.
Nice break there for the Arrows, who make their own breaks when it comes to getting a turnover ball like that and a penalty off of it. You're right, Mark. They were doing a pretty good job of hemming him in there, and it was only a matter of time before either Gold could make a break or the Arrows could make some of their own luck.
Absolutely, Ian.
Yep, you see them going to ground there. And yeah, they wanted that ball to come out a lot faster.
So the Arrows throw it in, up over the 40-meter line. Some decoy passes, squeeze that one out under pressure. And it's come up in gold and white hands. So the Arrows really squandering a great attacking opportunity. Ball's charged down. No advantage, says referee Green. Come back for a NOLA Gold scrum.
First scrum of the game here, Mark. I'm very curious to see how we're going to do. You know, the NOLA Gold pack, quite experienced with overseas players, lots of international caps between them. Scrummaging was a strong point for NOLA Gold last season. Fans of the game, of course, watching carefully for this first scrum to see who's going to make a statement here, who's going to win this. Of course, these set pieces, so vital for keeping momentum going when you have the ball, and such a great opportunity to take it away on your side when you're defending.
Having a word with both teams. Wanting a stable scrum. We'll reset.
Doesn't matter what level you play at, Mark. The referee always has some advice for you on your scrummaging. Happens in school, happens in the clubs, happens here at the pros. They want to see a nice, clean scrum.
You're right there, and imperative that referees communicate throughout the game, that the players know exactly what they're looking for, to give them warning. And now it's a short arm penalty, and the goals go quickly. Out to the left, good hands from Blewett, out to the wing. Tikawasuva coming back for his second season with the gold. A young man, 22 years of age, as is Tristan Blewett, who delivered the ball.
The ball is carried into touch. It goes
Taking it to the defense really nicely. Nate Osborne has these backs looking crisp. Passes have been, for the most part, accurate, allowing them to make some good ground on this Toronto Arrows defense. It will be the Arrows now that win the line out. Some decoy plays. Good, hard, strong running from Mike Shepherd. They needed some quicker ball than that. Got a little caught up at the back of the ruck. And Spencer Jones is brought down. And it's a turnover. Great play, Tristan Blewett. Gold having the lion's share of possession here, thanks to a couple of turnovers. Good accurate passing now. They have numbers. Coming back in, straightening up the play. Bring it back midfield. Cycling quickly. Now through the hands of Gale. Eloff injecting. Well tackled by Spencer Jones, the 21-year-old. Digging in is Youngert. Gets it out now to Bidens. Might have been knocked on, it was. So it's travelled forward off the hands of Hubert Bidens. The referee Scott Green on the spot to see that one.
Okay, Mark, we might actually see our first scrum down here since the the earlier attempt didn't actually come together. But yeah, the Toronto Arrows have been having to play a lot of defense here. I know they're probably very eager to get the ball in hand and see what their backs can do.
Hey, Ian, for the Americans watching this game, line of scrimmage in football comes from the term scrum, scrummage. Explain that to them.
This is what I love to tell people who are just getting to know the game. It's one of the eye-openers, right? Think about the line of scrimmage in football. This is exactly what's happening here in the scrum. The terminology is even the same. A lot of comparisons in these sibling sports. Of course, what are you doing here? You're competing for possession of the ball. You know, you can think about your forwards as your big linemen in the football field. Your quarterback is looking to get that ball and distribute it quick. And the beauty of the scrum, too, is it concentrates all those big forwards in one spot so that the backs finally have some room to maneuver. The greatest play you can have as a back is when all the forwards are still tied up together and you get that ball in hand and you keep moving it to your mates really quick and you can really make something happen without any of these big lugs running into you.
Ferguson feeds. It's a full penalty. Going straight down the front row of the Gold. So 2 incomplete scrums, Ian.
Still waiting for that
Much to your
scrum.
disappointment.
I'm a prop in my my club rugby days, so you know I am partial to that. But that's that's one of those marquee set position plays that that all fans of the game look at, and I think it's especially fascinating for newcomers of the game. What are they doing in there? Well, the dark arts of the scrum take much explanation in years to master.
Dark arts of the scrum. I love it.
Well, as a backline player myself, it definitely did fascinate me why anyone would be mad enough to go into a scrum and the ball is tapped down. So win against the throw to the Gold. We've got Thompson charging forward. He's been busy getting his hands on the ball plenty of times early. Beautiful pass from Gale. Out to Blewett. And now, back to Gale. Straight down the throat of the big man in the 15 jersey. That's Jack Evans, sending it straight back, giving the Gold another opportunity, and that is returned with interest with a nice gain for the Gold. So it'll be a line out to the Toronto Arrows now on the 40-meter line. They are now in Gold territory yet again.
And for those of us in New Orleans new to rugby, of course, the line out is kind of similar in basketball to a jump ball.
Yeah, think about that, Scott. It's again, it's another opportunity to contest to the ball to see who's going to get possession.
Great flat cutout pass. The Arrows fly half. Probably not expecting that one. They've got a lot of decoy runners. Looked like Sam Malcolm was wheeling his forwards around the corner, took his eye off the ball. It was somewhat shielded by one of the forward runners, and it has ended up as a knock-on. So really struggling, Ian, are the Arrows with their possession that they're getting to put it through the phases.
I was surprised that they got rid of it so quickly the last time they had it, kicking it back to the Gold, who have shown that they can be quite effective at kicking for space. You're right, Mark. It seems like the ball has been in the Gold's hands for the predominance of this game so far. We're moving into our 13th minute. Of course, 7-0, that early Gold score. Haven't found a way to get back there yet.
Down. Bind. Sit. Come on, man. Yes! Hey. Calm down, mate. Yeah, calm down.
Ref's line is way up.
Reset.
So scrum number 4 and penalty number 4 off the scrum.
There you go.
Will we get a complete scrum?
Yeah, that's the question of the game so far, Mark. Yeah, you can see the ref is watching these scrums very carefully, and you can see why. I mean, this is one of the key formations of rugby, but it's also it can be potentially dangerous if not done right. I mean, these are professionals, athletes out here. They're well conditioned for it, but it's still, if the form isn't quite right, it can be something to watch for.
Keep it up.
So Holden Young at the number 9 for the gold. Gets it in. It's a big drive from Nola, swinging around as well. It's a penalty. They'll be happy with that one. The backs come in to congratulate their forwards.
Number 1, straight across.
And that's something the backs love, right? When your big boys up front can do something to put you in a really good position. I know the backs hate it when the forwards cough up a ball when something goes quite wrong, and that ball that was coming their way goes to the opposition. But when you can win that ball for your team in the scrum, there's no better feeling as a forward.
Elof. Not the prettiest looking kick, but does the job.
Number 1.
Gives his team another 30 odd meters down the field. So they'll have a line out about 30 meters from the try line of the Arrows.
We've been playing in the middle of the field quite a bit this game. Let's see what Gold can do from a little better position now, pretty deep in Arrows territory.
Howard, the captain, poised, waiting for his forwards to maneuver. Nice line out play. Comes down now through Gale. The Striffler. Same way for the gold. Quick hands by Gale. Showing that he has a good passing game. And here comes Nola. Numbers left and right. Clean out coming through. Scott Green didn't like it. Neither did Kyle Bailey. And we have a little bit of argy-bargy early on. A lot of passion in that one.
Looks like pretty salty out there pretty quick, Mark. It looked like, the ref had obviously seen that. He'd blown it up. He was about to award a penalty, and then, there's a retaliatory hit from Nola, and before you know it, there's an extended conversation, sort of a group table discussion
Even
over
a
the whole
gentleman's
matter.
game can get a little frisky, you know?
Well, it will. And you'll see this during rugby games, Scott. I mean, it's tight in there, right? There's lots of stuff that we don't see that the players are doing to each other, perhaps undercover, and one person goes off a little bit, loses his temper, and then you see what we just witnessed. However, the great thing about rugby is almost never does that linger, right? I mean, you have your moment, you lose your temper, the referee educates you on the consequences of such actions, and which is what they're discussing right now.
I have to get involved. So we're here. The first penalty,
these things are usually stopped with a penalty.
Clear penalty. Now
Well, New Orleans loves their Saints. They love their football. They love contact. We saw a lot of contact right there, Mark. So you get it in rugby as well.
And it was clean contact as well, Scott. It was wrapping with the arms. It was a little late, but you can't argue with the a little early.
It was a form tackle, just not a scheduled tackle.
Yeah. Schedule. I like that, Ian. Thank you. Yes, exactly the words I was searching for. So the Arrows come up with the penalty after all of that.
I gave you the penalty,
And the kick, nearly brought in by Dolan. Valiant effort from him. On the sideline, couldn't quite reel it in. So Arrows now with a massive gain.
Dolan looking to do that pencil drop, keep possession with his toes in there. It didn't work out quite. Set up the Arrows pretty well. Let's see if they can take advantage. Quatrin.
Waiting throw. Gets it in, upset yet again. From the Gold. Great defense from them on the line out. It's the second occasion they've upset Arrows' ball. Let's see if they can bring it out of their zone now. So the Arrows once again leaving a prime attacking opportunity on the table. Gale sends it high, sends it long, straight down to Evans again. Opts to run this time. Takes it into a wall of white jerseys. and they've forced the ball along the ground. You see them pile through like a pack of wolves. Arrows have come up with it again, just kicking it down. It seems to be their tactic to gain some territory. I think we have to hand it to the defense of the Gold. It's almost forcing the Arrows to put the boot to ball rather than put it through the hands.
There's been a lot of that ball has spent a lot of time on the pitch bouncing around. It's been very loose, and as you mentioned, the playing conditions are optimum right now. It's dry, it's not very windy, it's beautiful weather. There's nary a drop of moisture out here, which is rare in Louisiana, I can tell you that. So this is not something that the Arrows can blame on conditions. That ball is coming loose for team reasons.
And that ball has not gone out. Jojo Tikawasuva comes in, having an attempt, he drops it. Might come back to that knock on there. It will. Just further to what you were saying, Ian, I think the coach of the Arrows, Chris Silverthorne, might have something to say about all this kicking from the Arrows. Might well have been a tactic, but you might want to try keeping the ball in hand and showing some more patience the way that the Gold have done in this first half.
Yeah, the two game plans have been interesting thus far. I've been impressed by the way that Gold has kept things moving even when the play doesn't obviously go as intended. There's been a few bobbles that they've been able to recover just by having good support. The Arrows have been stout in defense. I mean, for all the threats that NOLA Gold has made thus far, they've kept them to 7. This is anyone's game. Sit. And finally, a scrum.
Nope,
not this time either.
Yet again, another penalty at scrum time.
Again, this is that key set piece of rugby, right? This is the line of scrimmage from football. This is the way that you get the ball moving again after a penalty. This is the, like everything in rugby, it's a contest. It's the 5th penalty on Gold so far. So Nate Osborne probably not pleased with that for all the good things that he could probably see his team doing. There's been an awful lot of whistles thus far in the first 20 minutes of the game.
No more of that stuff tonight, mate.
And this whistle looks like it might be for our drinks break.
Okay, time's off.
Yeah, a little rehydration. Mark, a different schedule for MLR this year. Last year, much later start. This year, starting earlier in the year, which is a relief for the fans and the team down here in New Orleans.
Well, as you said, hydration key, and we'll be back in exactly 60 seconds once the players have had their drink. Don't go away.
NOLA Gold fans, catch our next telecast next Saturday when the Glendale Raptors come to town to take on, our NOLA Gold. Kickoff is set for 2 p.m. Central. For the full broadcast schedule, please visit coxsportstv.com.
And they're working over an Arrows player on the sideline there. Ooh, looks like a nasty cut to the top of the head.
Another feature of rugby that you don't really see in football with those helmets. Scott Alexander.
No. We get other injuries, though.
Oh, there's no shortage of injuries in that sport. Those collisions are ferocious. Back on the rugby pitch now as the Arrows inch forward with a driving maul from the line out. Their best attacking opportunity of the match thus far. Ferguson gets it out the back to the blind winger coming in. That's Moore. 5 meters from the line now, the Arrows. Can they reply with a try of their own? They trail by 7 points to 0, and they are 3 meters away, and the ball goes to ground. Might have been knocked on. Here come the Gold, looking to bring it out. Ball goes forward again, out of the hands of Gale. So the Arrows with the ball, 2 meters from the line. Plenty of numbers out to the right as well. They have space. What will they do? Ferguson keeps it tight, looking to get over the try line. The Gold defense holding firm, picking and driving 2 meters from the line. Great defense from the Gold. It's like this is the way the Arrows will try and get over for their first try of the game. Can they barge their way over? Just taking their time, another pick and drive. Easy pickings for NOLA. Ball taking its time to come out. Ferguson pointing, directing into a wall of blue jerseys, trying to go forward. Gold holding firm. Can they keep this Toronto Arrows side out? They may have turned it over. The ball is there. No, it's coming back for Ferguson. He looks to his blind side. Coming in now, that's Ciullini. Unsuccessful yet again. Quick hands to Moonlight. He's taken over the line. Looks like he got it down. Referee right on the spot. So the Arrows reply with 5 points. NOLA Gold 7, Toronto Arrows 5 with a conversion to come.
And the Arrows, wow, what a way to grind that one out. That was a classic rugby goal line stand right there, where you had your many opportunities for the Arrows to punch it in. There was a change of possession, twice within maybe 4 seconds. This is the reason why, if you're on defense, you never give up hope, even when the opponent is knocking on your door, as the Arrows were, because the Gold did get the ball back. They had taken it away. But alas, that was undone, and the Arrows capitalized, got that ball back, and you see that phase after phase, grinding. Mark, as you said, they slowed it down, which is so key. You get that close to the try, and you just, there's that natural tendency to just try anything. You can just reach across the line. That's where things often go bad for teams on offense. But the Arrows, patience, the endurance, the toughness to stand there and move that ball and make the opportunity happen. And of course, at the end of it, they did. Well orchestrated and very hard fought try for the Arrows. It could have been NOLA's ball. They had it in hand. They were running with it. Just got a little slipped up there and gave the opportunity back to the Arrows, who are probably feeling very relieved that that after all that they were able to capitalize and tie this game up. It's 7-7 with less than 16 minutes to go in the first half.
Beautiful conversion by Sam Malcolm, just dissecting the posts, and brings the scores level. As you said, they did show the patience where they needed the Arrows, because they haven't been showing patience in the middle of the field. Really putting the ball past 3 or 4 phases.
Hold here, Blue, stop, Blue.
They did it where it mattered now, and they've come up with the equalizing score.
Are we good?
But it's now the Gold, just inside the half of the Arrows, bringing it out wide to Dolan, lurking. A hard man to stop at the best of times, let alone out wide. Cole. It was Bentar there. Now through the hands of Gale. Playing a nice link roll here today for the Gold. Into position early, out through the hands again. That's beautiful hands. Just a little bit in front of the play was Blewett. Had to pull it back from behind him. Slowing things down. You can see the intention of NOLA to get the ball through the hands quickly and out into the open spaces, mixing up the play really well. Eloff does exceptionally well to pull that ball in. And now Dolan handing off to Moppin. He's got the try line in sights, and it's a try. No hesitation from the referee to call it a try in the corner, despite the valiant effort of the Toronto's defense coming through.
The first 2 scores by the Gold, by the way, by their 2 leading try scorers last season. First it was JP Eloff, that time Tim Moppin, the 14 player.
And of course, a great team effort to get the ball that deep, and then Tim was there for mopping it up. As you see, Scott, he put that right in the corner. corners. This is going to be a very challenging conversion. Of course, in rugby, they have to attempt the 2 points after the try wherever the ball carrier touches down the ball, right? For our term touchdown from football comes from rugby. In rugby, of course, you have to actually make contact with that ball down, which is why you always see them diving across the try zone, whether someone's on their heels or not. In that case, the Arrows defenders certainly were, but could not stop him. But now Gold has to try to convert from a very narrow angle here, just about as tight a window as it could possibly be. Let's see if he can do it.
JP Eloff, the vice captain of this NOLA team. And that's a beautiful, does he have the legs? It's just short. I thought he might have not given it enough gas. Well directed, it was online, just needed a little bit more oomph.
Disappointing when you've got the hardest part there. You've got the target, you've got the bullseye right there for that very challenging shot. Just not enough mustard to get it through. But it is 5 points for NOLA Gold and gives them a lead. Slim though it may be, 12-7 right now, entering the final 13 minutes of the half.
So it's Gold with another chance after the restart by Sam Malcolm. 23-year-old New Zealander. Back down the short side. Dolan again. He's been everywhere. The most celebrated Eagles in this current squad. Up to the 40-meter line. Showing some great patience, this Gold attacking team. The Arrows come in with some ferocious defense, forcing Gale now to put it onto the boot. Down to Malcolm. Evans, we haven't seen much running from him, plenty of kicking. And all he can do is rifle it over the sideline to give his team about a 20-meter gain from the kick, but it will be the Gold inside the half now of the Arrows yet again.
Come in, Blue.
You know, and the loose play out of these lineups can be really something if the stars align, if the forwards do their job, if they get that ball and pitch it out to the backs quick. You can see some really dynamic play.
Eric Howard, I should say, the captain, and that's well brought in from Foley. Australian Sevens legend through the hands again. Eloff does so well to prop back in and then fires a flat pass out to the winger. There's Tiko Asuba. He's taken into touch. And that is a coach's pet peeve. Well, it was mine anyway when I coached. When your wingers take it over the sideline.
Yeah, almost any other outcome would have been preferable, right, Mark? I mean, if you had some support there, if you could just make that pass, if you could just even go to ground with it, you know, eat it, take the tackle, and have your mates there to ruck for you and secure that ball and move it out to the next guy. Right now, it's the Arrows' ball.
He did his best to keep it in. Jojo. It's a good defensive effort.
You're off the ball there.
Cover tackle. Allowing the Arrows now to have the ball from the line out. Comes to the back. The box kick from Ferguson. Sends it high and infield. Eloff's under it. Makes no mistake. Did not take his eye off the ball. Now the Gold with some open space in behind and out wide. Lovely step from Foley. Showing his experience. And racing up in defense. Bidens does well. Eloff coming in as a link man. And now makes way for Gale. Stabbing it along the ground.
Hold the mark from the head.
In what we call a grubber kick to Evans. Decides to run and then offloads to Lloyd. Lloyd has a hack at the ball. And the Gold doing a great job of pinning the Arrows down in their territory in this first half.
Pretty effective little grubber kick there. You know, you give up possession to get some territory, put it in their hands deep, hope they make a mistake. In that case, they fielded it very well, the Arrows, but Gold was right up in their grill, right up in their face fast. Had to get rid of it and give it back to Gold in very good field position.
You can just sense the pressure that the Gold are piling on to the Arrows now. Will the Arrows crack?
Off you go, Stephen.
As the NOLA Gold have the ball. 30 metres out, another decoy play. That's a very flat pass to Moppin. Referee says play on. That looked like a trip. And the touch judge's flag is out. He saw it as well. He was right on the spot. It'll be interesting to see what the outcome of that is. But it's play on for now. Through the hands. Over the top now. Beautiful out wide. Last ditch tackle. It comes in. It's knocked on there. And a penalty. But let's see if the touch judge is on his communications. He's coming all the way back over. It'll be interesting to hear what they have to say here.
One of the great things about rugby, though, is they let you keep playing. Even if that penalty occurs, that's what they're talking about right now. That was a clear trip. It was not a tackle. The stadium doesn't like it one bit at all. The fans here are booing that but cheering their guys. That's the third penalty on the Arrows, and likely a costly one. NOLA 3 for 3 on their lineouts thus far. And looks like this may set up NOLA Gold for a shot penalty kick if they so choose. And the ref is going to have a discussion with the Arrows captain.
Well, Ian, as you said, it could be very costly. I mean, that was very careless. Looked like it might have been accidental, but careless all the same. You'd have to think it's a yellow card at the very least.
Yeah, here's some rugby for rookies tips here.
For guys like me.
Yeah, exactly, Scott. Well, you know, as the ref will tell even the pros, there's a lot to learn about this game, and they don't mind educating you, as they're doing right now. Okay, that's a yellow card. Extremely costly for the Arrows. That may have been a desperation play. That may have been an error. We don't know, but the ref didn't like it at all, and he is ejecting temporarily the Arrows player. They will be playing a man down for, well, probably, definitely for the end of this half. Off he goes to the sin bin, as we call it in rugby, because we love our terms.
Just hold the ball for me.
Okay, so here you have your ball carrier. He gets tripped up, not tackled. That'll be considered, dangerous and really unfair play by the ref, who gives a major penalty to the Arrows and great advantage.
Gold driving forward now, looking to capitalize on that penalty and the one-man advantage. Picking and driving, inches from the line. Here come NOLA Gold. Toronto doing their best to hold on. A wall of blue stands in front. And between NOLA and 5 points, potentially 7, they're over the line, and the referee calls it straight away. The goal! They've scored again! And aren't they happy about it?
Well, Mark, that as we said, very, very costly one play there for the Arrows, because it set up NOLA Gold very deep in Arrows territory. They're playing a man down right now because one of their players is in the sin bin on that penalty, but that wasn't a play that was really affected by having 14 men on the field, because that was just a good old-fashioned forwards play. That was just a good old-fashioned Eric Howard try, driving that in. And, if they had gone wide with it, if they had tried to move it through the back's hands, that's when your 14-on-15 advantage comes in. But that was just good old-fashioned bowling it through. That was just a will to get it across the line. And the Arrows, for all their durability up front there, eventually the goal found a way.
Making no mistake with that conversion there. The vice captain, of course, ranked 4th overall in point scoring in last year's Major League Rugby competition.
The refs will let a lot of things go in this sport. They know the nature of it. They know the spirit of it. So do the players. That's why they love it. But when they decide to penalize you, it can really hurt, because they can take a man off the pitch. And now the Arrows will play the remainder of this first half a man down.
The Arrows do not want to give NOLA too much possession while they have one of their players in the sin bin, as you called it, Ian. They want to just keep the ball in hand as much as possible. So for now, they need to get it from this NOLA Gold team. Beautiful break there from Blewett. Still going, showing plenty of pace. Wonderful footwork. Coming back the same way now through Thompson. And here come the Gold backs. Beautiful pass from Foley. out in front. That's his sevens experience there. Shrugs a couple of tackles. Beautiful on the inside. Quick hands. Look at this interchange of passing from the goal. That's as beautiful a try as you'll ever see. So quick with the ball in hand. Offloading it from the point of attack. Making it extremely hard for this Arrows defense. Try time, NOLA Gold.
And Ian, that was the Olympian from Australia that you mentioned in the open, Con Foley, with the score. His first effort for the gold.
Does not disappoint. Yep, that was his first game for the gold right now, and that was his first try. And what a beauty, Mark, really. That's what I love about rugby, right? Seeing that ball move back and forth unselfishly from the forwards to the backs. The forwards, you know, doing some of the big hits up front, setting up their backs for good position. The backs taking that, running it, moving it back and forth. You know, a tackle ends nothing. A tackle is just part of the play. You suck that tackle up and you set up your guy next to you to take it in. It's always about that guy next to you. That's why you want to have good support. That's why you want to have a guy ideally on either side of you, running alongside, ready to take that. And boy, did that pay off for the gold. That's teamwork right there, and that's a beauty.
Well, you know it's quick passing as a commentator when you don't even have a chance to call the player's name when he catches the ball. Offloaded very quickly before the tackle as well.
Looks like they missed the conversion, but quickly the Gold have galloped ahead to 24-7. This was a 7-7 game not too long ago, but the Gold, of course, got that penalty. We were able to bull one in the old-fashioned way, and then on that one you have to think they really took advantage of the overload, moving it through the backs, moving it fast, not giving them a second break, and punching another one in. NOLA Gold 2 of 4 on conversions thus far in the game.
So they really need to get their hands on the ball, this Toronto Arrows team, if they're going to prevent a blowout here in the first half. And they have turned it over, just what they needed to do. They can settle it down. Just under 4 minutes left on the clock in this first half. And they would want to get back on the scoreboard as they bring it through the hands the same way. It'll pass out the back. That's leverage. Born in the Cayman Islands. Keith, young prop, flat pass out to Malazzo. Good defense. Ooh, creeping offside. Referee said it was fine. So the Arrows maintain possession. They have some numbers if they can just get it over the top, and they do. Here they go through Dan Moore, getting the offload away. Bring it back into safety now is the number 7, John Moonlight.
That's all right now, boys.
23 caps for Canada. Experienced player, Moonlight, at 31 years of age. The Arrows still with their hands on the ball.
Be onside, boys.
Winding the clock down now into the halftime interval. And the ball was lost. That looked like Dan Moore coming in for some work. We've got Elof decides to run. Blew it. He decides to kick. And it wasn't a fantastic kick either. And he knows it too.
The crowd is not happy about that. Spectator touched the ball when it was kicked out, barely into the stands. Spirited crowd here in Marrero, Louisiana, outside of New Orleans. Good-looking crowd, too. It's a chilly day. Everyone's bundled up. Lots of rugby colors from the various local clubs and teams around New Orleans. And look to the right on your screen on this replay. Look at the hit that he takes. Yeah, that's a pretty nasty hit on NOLA Gold there.
Charge down. Still maintaining possession. Comes along the ground. Quick hands now out. Looks like the kick coming in from inside the 22. So it could have gone out in the full if it wanted to. But Dolan showing exceptional skill. He can do anything, this man. What about the gain for the NOLA Gold? And he knows it too.
How about that field possession? Talk about flipping the pitch, right? I mean, they went from deep in their own territory to practically knocking on the door of the Arrows yet again. Under a minute to play. That clock will keep rolling. The whistle's not going to blow right at the zeros there. The ref's going to let whoever has the ball keep playing with it until something decisive happens one way or the other. It is the Arrows ball.
Just get the sense that the Arrows are now just in damage control. Can they prevent any more scoring before this half, let alone try and score one of their own? And it looks like a knock on, so just still piling on the pressure of this NOLA Gold team on the Toronto Arrows. Seconds left in this first half.
And again, Mark, they'll keep this. The ref will keep the this game moving. This will likely be the last play in the half. But after this scrum, he'll let it play until somebody scores. So there's a penalty. Somebody knocks it. It goes out of bounds. But with that halftime whistle, we still have one more play here. There's easily a scoring opportunity for either team. NOLA has only had 2 turnovers thus far in the game, which is pretty good when you think about how many opportunities there are to lose that ball in this game.
Well, this is dangerous for the Toronto Arrows right here, Ian. On the 22-meter line, NOLA has a full complement. They have the back line out to the left. If they score another try, that could really hurt Toronto's confidence going into halftime. Let's see what they can do. So now Moppin comes in, try scorer. Youngett flung to the ground. White jerseys filing around the same way. Quick hands, nice in close. Trying to barge their way through. Find a half hole. Bailey brought to ground as well. This is the last play of the first half. And now Striffler with some support. Coming back to the open. Gale finds Foley. Blewett out to Moppin. What can he do? Steps in. Good offload. Blewett's crunched to the ground from the number 4, Mike Shepard. And it looks like a penalty. So they've managed to keep out this Gold team, and they needed to do so coming into the break. And it's a penalty, so again, not yet the last play of the game. If this ball goes into touch, that will be. Or will they decide to run it? You never know. Or do they just want to get this first half over with? And they do. So that's the first half gone.
Can't blame them for that. They definitely do want to get off this pitch. The coach wants to have a word with them. They're going to have to get a new game plan together for the second half.
Yeah, what was a 7-7 game midway through the first half. Got blown open 24-7, but the Arrows did hold tight right there, coming back in at halftime. We're going to look at the highlights and what went on in the first half, but for guys like me, the new ones, we're going to have Rugby 101 coming up next on CST. Welcome back to NOLA Gold Rugby on CST. It's halftime. Well, the Gold have a 24-7 lead with 3 straight tries after it was 7-7. Hey, it's a beautiful day here in New Orleans, and even more beautiful for the NOLA Gold players. As I said, they lead 24-7. We'll talk about that in the next break, what happened in the first half. But for new guys like me, new and passionate fans of rugby, let's talk about the rules of rugby. We like to call it Rugby 101. So here we go. Let's look at some of the rules. Obviously, you've been playing your entire life. Ian, you've actually been playing for the last, say, dozen or so years. Look at the scoring system. It's just the basic part. We talked about it. But Mark, let's talk about what a try means in a conversion and the rest of the scoring and what goes on next.
Sure, a try is worth 5 points. That's where the ball is touched down over the end zone, we call it, and then you get a chance to score extra points with the conversion kick. It's worth 2. And a penalty goal in any part of the field is worth 3 points. A drop goal is the same, and a penalty try is where the referee just automatically brings it under the post for 7 points.
And for those just watching for the first time, a try is basically in football a touchdown. In fact, the term touchdown comes from rugby, because after you get into the try zone, you don't get points until you touch the ball down on the ground, hence the version. Let's go to the next tackle, ruck, and maul, Ian.
Yeah, well, this is another big difference from football, right? I mean, for as many similarities as people see in the game, a tackle ends nothing in rugby, right? And a tackle ends nothing. You have to compete for the ball. That's where the ruck comes in. That's where your teammates come in and plow over you and the opponents who are coming in to try to steal that ball. Every single point of contact is an opportunity to turn the ball over. So if you have the ball, you have to defend it. You want that ball, you got to keep it. That's what the ruck's all about. And we saw a maul out there. We saw a really good maul from the Arrows. That's when all of the big forwards came together, not in a scrum, but in a more mobile fashion, and just try to push the other team forward towards usually towards the try zone. Usually something you play when you're near a scoring position.
Well, the one word most of us have heard is scrum. They had some unsuccessful ones to start this game.
They did indeed, and the scrum, it's a tough one to get cleanly out there. You can imagine 8 big, strong men bound together, pushing against another 8 big, strong men, and you saw it was a little messy out there because it's important for safety that everything is kept nice and tight. And with the line out, it's the same. Another way to restart the play, normally when the ball goes over the sideline or out of bounds, and it's similar to jumping a ball in basketball.
It's part of the dynamic nature of the game that people love, because every time the ball is in your hand, you have to do something with it, and there's an opportunity for that the opponent to take it away. That's why you never give up hope when you're playing defense. I mean, there's an opportunity at every tackle to win that ball. There's an opportunity at every scrum, at every line out. That's why you have to be so fluid on offense and defense in this game. The players, they have specialized positions, but when that whistle blows and the action's on, you have to take that initiative, whether you're on whatever side of the ball you're on, which is just part of the passion of the game. That's why it's so fun to watch.
And speaking of lineouts, the Gold have one of the best in the business, Captain Eric Howard. He does it best. That's what they all say. Hey, coming back, we'll take a look at what happened in the first half right here. Coming up next on CST. there since he's going to go highlights, all right?
Okay.
Welcome back to NOLA Gold Rugby on CST. As you can see, it's a beautiful day here in the Crescent City. In a game that was 7-7 midway through the first half. I got to tell you, the NOLA Gold scored 3 tries in literally 9 minutes. They scored 17 points in that time period. And Mark, you've been around a lot of rugby. Is it normal to score that fast? Yeah, in fact, they had 2 tries in less than 2 minutes.
Well, it's normal with a well-drilled team and a team that's very excited about their first game of the season, which is exactly the NOLA Gold. I've been impressed with the pace that they're playing this game. Yep. They're really shifting the ball, the point of attack. They're showing different kinds of play, short passing, long passing, wide, close, and the Toronto Arrows are finding it really hard to contain them.
Let's take a look at the highlights, Ian. Yeah. The first half with the first score, to get 7-0, Scotty Gale got the first one.
As we've seen in this game, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to score, right? I mean, you can keep it tight, you can keep it loose. What I've been impressed with is the teamwork, you know, that nobody being greedy or selfish with the ball, really trusting the other players to move the ball. Now, that was the Arrows try there, a very hard-fought try that they got from knocking on the door, and finally getting it in. Their only try of the half, unfortunately, for the Arrows. After that, it's been the Gold show. You know, the Gold has been putting on quite a show here for the home crowd, and that was a very costly penalty that the Arrows picked up deep in their own territory, cost them a man. They're playing a man down for the end of the second half, for the last 10 minutes of it, of the first half. And as you can see, the Gold capitalized not just once, but twice, and really took a commanding lead in the half with this. But you can see weaving back and forth, giving the ball to your mate, having that guy there in support so that you can offload that ball quick and have another guy run onto it fast and really, really, really keep the defense on their heels.
Well, the players are making their way back on the field. Hey, when we come back, we're going to preview the second half and see if the Arrows can make a comeback. What a gorgeous day here at Gold Stadium. As the Gold took a 24-7 lead, they're starting the second half. Hey, listen, in football, this is not an impossible comeback, but rather unlikely. What is it like in rugby, Mark?
Oh, very similar. In fact, it is more likely in rugby with the dynamic nature of the game. It's continuous. The Arrows just need to come out and possibly start with the first score, and then it's anyone's game.
That momentum shift would be huge for the Arrows, of course. They had to play most of the first half on defense, with the exception of that really nice try that they put up to make it a 7-7 game. But if I'm the Gold, I'm not doing anything different in the second half. Their first half strategy was working very well. Good flow, good continuity, great movement to get that out to their fast striking backs, and the forwards have certainly done their part to keep possession of the ball and to bat down any of the Arrows' attacks.
Mark, you can see the upgrade in athletic ability they brought in this season. A lot of international players. We talked about Scott Gale and Con Foley. They both scored in the first half.
You can definitely see that in their back line. They're well drilled, accurate. I think the key has been the accuracy of their passing and the speed at which they pass the ball, and it's made it really hard for the Toronto Arrows to defend. And you'll see here Gold coming out with the first possession of the second half. Eloff sending it long. That'll come down in the hands of Malcolm. Brings it infield. And the Arrows just inside NOLA Gold's territory. Some strong tackling there on the number 13, Spencer Jones, a young man from Vancouver. Spent some time in New Zealand. Now the Arrows just see lacking that accuracy yet again. They needed to tighten that up. I'm sure the coach had plenty to say at halftime about that.
That's very, very frustrating for the Arrows because, as you said, Mark, they need to come out and they need to change the momentum of this game. They need things to go their way, but there's no better way to undo any kind of luck you might get in this game than to knock it on, than to make a forward pass. I mean, all these little things that you have to execute tight in order to put yourself in a good position, in order to score, in order to deprive that possession to the opponent. And thus far, it's still been the Gold show.
You're right, Ian. You'd have to say then, in particular, it was a relatively unforced error. That's what's killing the Arrows. It's not as if NOLA Gold are really pressing them and forcing the errors. And when the NOLA Gold have the ball in hand, they are doing a much better job at keeping that accuracy. And that's a flat pass again. And a little too flat, says referee Scott Green. Been flirting with that offside line all game with those passes.
Yeah, keen eye there, Mark. Of course, in rugby, you're always passing back, right? There's no forward passes, and if flat looks like forward, that's going to get called back. So, unfortunately for the Gold, that was a quite promising run there, undone, and the ball going back to the Arrows. We did see our first scrum just leading up to that. Here's our second. You can see that did that affect the play of the game? Maybe not, but it's not in the spirit of the rules, so he was correct to call it back.
Just an interesting note about the forward pass rule, Ian. The ball can travel forward sometimes, eventually, but not be deemed a forward pass if the referee thought that the pass came backwards out of the passer's hand. Sometimes with momentum and inertia and the wind, that ball can travel forward.
So much is up to the subjective decision of the ref, of the sir in this case, and as rugby players we love and respect that because the entire game is in his hands. The authority of that one ref in the middle.
Colby Francis on the field for the Arrows, gets his first touch of the game, looking for his second, and he gets it, charges forward. Keen to make his presence felt as they inch their way into NOLA Gold territory. Spinning it wide, finding a little bit of space. That's strong tackling from the Gold. Tristan Blewett has been a nuisance in defence. Foley making the last tackle there. And now here come the Arrows charging over the 40-metre line of Gold. Oh, almost an intercept, but he wasn't interested in catching that ball. Blewett just wanted to make the hit. So it's still in possession of the Arrows. Bringing it midfield. They've got players both sides. Looks like they may go down the short side. No, they come open through the hands. Just checking. Taking his medicine was Mike Shepherd. This is better play from the Arrows. Out now to Moonlight, the try scorer. Still going. Strong runner. Experienced player. And now the Arrows up to the 22-meter line of NOLA Gold. This is the start that they were looking for. Can they convert it into points? Over the 22. Same way for the Arrows. Leverage. Out to the replacement. Sean Windsor. Back inside. Still going. That's Kainoa Lloyd. Haven't seen much of him in this game. Moonlight again. Closer and closer. Almost up to the 5-meter line. Their best passage of play in this game so far for the Arrows. Slowing it down. Just marshalling his troops is Ferguson, the scrum half. Keeping it tight yet again. It proved beneficial in that first half. Same again, the counter ruck coming in from the Gold, trying to upset proceedings. Still in the hands of the Toronto Arrows. On the 5-meter line now. Took them 15 phases to get there. Good tackle from the Gold. Are they going to swing it wide? Here they come. It comes over the top. Windsor out now. It looks like it might be a try, and it is. I got so excited, I lost my headset.
Dan Moore.
We'll pick it up for you, Mark.
Oh, well done, Dan Moore. He's been busy in this game, and what a great finish. And it all came from some slick hands and a great pass from Sean Windsor.
Wow, Mark, you see how long that try took to develop. I mean, how many phases was that? 20, 24? That was a lot. And it started actually way back here up in front of the 22-meter line when Moonlight kept that ball in that great run and didn't go out of bounds. You know, Gold was trying to push him out, which would have completely changed the pace of that possession. But, boy, keeping it in hand, moving it through the forwards, getting it out to the backs, and then that key pass. Halfway across the pitch to the waiting and open arms of his fullback with nobody in front of him. Gold gave chase, could not keep up. And, of course, we see now extremely challenging conversion opportunity for the Arrows in the very, very corner.
Drilled it.
It was good.
Drilled it.
Can't underscore how hard of a kick that is. Of course, like we said earlier in rugby, you have to make that kick from wherever your try scorer puts the ball down, right? So ideally, if you have the opportunity, you want to drop that ball right between the uprights. If you're coming in for a try, you want to make sure you plant that ball as close to the uprights as you can. If no one's right on your heels, you'll even see players run between the uprights and put it exactly where they know their kicker wants it. In that case, he was taking any try he could with defenders on him right in the corner. That's where they had to kick it from, and congratulations to the Arrows for making that. And making it a much closer game now, 24-14. Really a good restart for the second half.
Whatever the coach said at halftime, it has worked for the Arrows, as they seem to be playing with a lot more confidence and rigor, sending the ball long. It's allowing now Scott Gale just to dance his way up almost to the halfway. Gold now through the hands. Grubber kick coming in from Con Foley. Sent straight back deep into their 22. Eloff taking his time, letting the ball bounce around. It's an odd-shaped ball, that's for sure. Sending it back. Doesn't go out. So now the Arrows get another opportunity. Lloyd over the halfway line. Can they keep the ball in hand? Nice dummy there from Ferguson. He just shrugs another one. Stepping, weaving almost up to the 22 is Ferguson. The Arrows on the charge yet again. Malcolm. Almost up to the 22. Toronto growing in stature in this match. Beautiful pass out to the try scorer. Moore, he shrugs another one, but he's put down and puts the ball down in the process. Well, the Arrows looking dangerous in attack.
Well, we saw it all right there in that charge. I mean, the arrows looking like they were almost a certain try right in front of them. Gold recovers and immediately gets run out of bounds. So we've got a line out back to the arrows right on the doorstep of Gold. Gold looks like they picked up a little reprieve there, but we'll see how long it lasts. Another try here would be a real big change of pace.
So the arrows, 5 meters from the line. Last team to score minutes earlier. Gold under pressure. This is a driving maul. The ball is kept off the ground. They'll need to use it soon. Ball's come to ground finally. Ferguson directing, digs in, gets the ball out. Short pass, good drive. 2 meters from the line, the arrows, and it's turned over. And here come the Gold. Quickly through the hands. Elof out wild. Kicks ahead. It's taken from Windsor under pressure. Dances, does extremely well to allow his support players to come and help. And Lloyd equally strong on his feet. The arrows thwarted from their last attempt to score. They were meters away. NOLA Gold were able to get out of the zone. But you see now Toronto Arrows are putting on the pressure in this part of the field, just as Gold were doing to them in the first half, Ian.
Really lucky for NOLA Gold to get that ball right, like really inches from the try zone, but no time to pat themselves on the back for that great play because they gave it right back to the Arrows, trading space for possession again. That's what they had to do. They had to get that ball out of their own backyard, but now the Arrows have it. They picked up a penalty, they're kicking for touch, and they'll be very, very deep in NOLA Gold territory for their next attack.
And Scott, you can see the grandstand filling up here. Did the crowd get the right kickoff time?
No, I think they were on Easter time, or at least 1 hour before, but they're getting in here now. They're seeing a comeback by the Arrows, who looked like they were left for dead in the first half, but man, they've come out a new team in the second.
They really have. Whatever happened in that half for them is working. Threatening for their second try here, very deep in NOLA Gold territory.
They've turned it over yet again. They've had some trouble in the line out. NOLA Gold pinching that one. They needed to, because the Arrows were looking ominous. Back to their full complement. Could attribute their slump in scoring to that yellow card we mentioned before. NOLA Gold scoring 2 tries while the Arrows had their winger off the field.
Yeah, NOLA Gold certainly did capitalize on that late in the first half. So far, the second half has been a lot more Arrows offense. Gold gotten some lucky breaks here, getting the ball back from their goal line. But with the kicking game, the Arrows have ended up with it in pretty strong position yet again.
Must be something about this side of the field, because all the scoring seems to be happening on this side. Obviously, this way, it's going. The Arrows going this direction, just like last half it was the NOLA Gold.
Well, these arrows are certainly pointed downfield now towards NOLA, as they have for most of the first half here. 12 minutes in. Gold looking to get some of their shine back from the first half. And looks like the Arrows are helping them out a little bit with some more bad ball play, breaking up their run. We'll have a nice scrum down this way.
Last year's captain Taylor Howden comes in the game. He is going to play 13. Blewett, Tristan Blewett moves over to the wing, and Jojo Tika Savoya is out for the game now.
Okay, so some replacements coming on. The Arrows have made some replacements also. NOLA Gold, this is when you start to see some of the coaching strategy come in. When do you deploy your fresh legs? When do you bring some new talent onto the pitch? Sometimes it's for an injury, sometimes it's a calculated move.
NOLA Gold win their line out. Elof spreading the ball, miss pass out. That's slick handling yet again from Gold. Ends up with Blewett still driving, might be turned over. It was a strong tackle from the Arrows, but they maintain possession. Thompson finding a little gap. Now through the hands of Foley. Up over their own 40-meter line. Staying patient. They did this so well in the first half. Foley keeping it alive, getting that offload game going yet again. Still with the ball in hand. Keeping that patience. Flat pass out to Thompson. Goes a little bit backwards. Blewett has to go back for it. Puts it on the toe, but it'll come back for a penalty in the middle of the field. No advantage to NOLA Gold.
See, again, one of the great things about rugby, something goes wrong, there's a penalty committed, but that the team with the ball, the team moving the ball is not penalized for that. They don't have their momentum killed by the whistle. The ref lets it play, what we call advantage, until he determines the tables have turned, or the momentum is gone, or their attack has changed gears, and then he'll decide to call it or not. Again, a lot of discretion left in the hands of the sir and in the hands of the ref.
Definitely a great feature of this game of rugby. Making every attempt to keep the game flowing and exciting for the spectators and exhausting for the players.
Yes, indeed. I can tell you there's nothing worse than being a forward when there's penalty after penalty and it means set piece after set piece, especially these scrums and lineouts.
So the Gold yet again on the 40-meter line of the Arrows. Charging forward is Moppin. Keen to get involved again after his early try-scoring efforts. Flat pass, beautiful hands, diving from Foley. Exceptional play. Now Thompson again, keeping himself busy. Flat pass infield. Arrows defense racing up, making sound tackle. Keeping Gold in their territory. Comes back now. Chip kick over the top, might be out in the full, and it is. So that is not Scott Gale's best effort. He won't be happy with that one.
Goes right back to where the kick happened, went directly out. Yeah, give NOLA Gold credit on some of these passes that we've seen. Passes that look like they're just going to be right off your fingertips. They managed to haul them in, but of course, all props to the Arrows defense on being able to hold them, to be right there where that ball lands, to be right in their face. This is that come up and hit them kind of defense.
Cox Sports Television brings you some of the best men's and women's college basketball matchups. Well, here's a look at what you can catch this week, including Omaha, South Florida, Tulsa, Wichita State, and more. Log on to our website for the full schedule, coxsportstv.com. Hey, for those new to MLR like myself, hey, listen very quick. Last year they had 7 teams. You see 2 new additions to the 7, the Rugby United New York, they call it Rooney, and also the Toronto Arrows, the team playing here today. Next year they're going to add Atlanta, they're going to add Boston, they're going to add Washington, D.C. and Dallas, and then supposedly Chicago and Los Angeles are right behind. Hey, the Rugby MLR is growing and growing rapidly.
It's been really exciting to see. I mean, this is our first season last year. New Orleans was in it. Arrows making their debut this season. It's been a really fast growth for this league, and it is truly becoming a national league.
Hey, real quick, this has been a 20-minute drought right now for the NOLA Gold. Is that unusual after scoring 3 tries in 9 minutes earlier in the first half?
It's not unusual. You can very easily become complacent after scoring so often in the first half. And as we mentioned, the Arrows, they could expect a backlash from the Arrows. The coach going in, probably like sending a rocket into his players, and they've come out, they've done exactly that. They needed to do something different, and look at them again, making a break. Nearly tackled without the ball there, but it's been all the Arrows in this second half. Great hands on, and that's going to be a try. What a play from Spencer Jones, sending Dan Moore in for his second try of the match. Fantastic effort, and here they come, the Toronto Arrows from Canada.
Any sense of this being a runaway game for NOLA Gold just evaporated with that try. They started the second half with a 17-point lead, down to 5 right now, awaiting the conversion, and that was a really nice try, Mark. Do you see how that started with a rumble by one of the big forwards, making an unexpected break? Definitely a missed tackle there for Gold.
Hey, Dan Moore gets his second try, but he almost had 3. If you remember, he got right near the try zone, literally right after the first try he got this half. He's on fire right now, Mark.
He's having a fantastic game.
And he left his kicker in very good position for this conversion.
It was better than he left him before.
Gold having a discussion in the try zone there. Of course, in rugby, after you're scored upon, they make you wait where the crime occurred against you, and watch as they try to make that conversion. Of course, the ball is live if it goes off of the uprights. You should rarely see. That's a miss, so that's a bit of a reprieve for Gold.
Well, he drilled the 2 hard ones, and he got the one near the middle of the field.
And he left a little bit of breathing room for Gold here, who now have a 5-point lead.
Hey, don't miss every division and every class of the LHASAA Girls and Boys Basketball Championships right here on CST. Hey, the girls tip off live coverage on Cox Sports Television March 1st and 2nd, and then the following week, the boys. They take the court with games on March 8th and 9th. Stay tuned to Cox Sports TV for times and to find out which teams will face off in the 2018 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Boys and Girls March Madness.
A 5-point lead is interesting because any score that comes will make it a 2-possession game. If we happen to see a penalty kick for 3 points, which we haven't seen in this game, if we see a drop kick for 3 points, which again we haven't seen in this game, that makes it an 8-point lead for Gold. And with the last 20 minutes of the match coming up, those are things to think about.
Toronto's doing a much better job this half of softening the middle of the field to use the space out wide.
Yeah, they sure are, Scott. This is answer time for Gold. They have the ball here at their line out at midfield. Let's see what they can do with it. If they can bring this ball down from the line out, get it out to their backs, maybe make a little magic happen like we saw at the end of the first half.
Eric Howard, the captain of NOLA Gold, throws it in. Great line out from Gold. And that's a strong tackle on the replacement. Vince Jobo coming in like a cannonball. Gold. Howard sending it out. Experienced player from New Zealand. Last year's captain. Shows the depth of this squad and these new players coming in. Very competitive now. This NOLA Gold squad. Go to the top into space. Elof gives chase. Bounce is unkind for him, but a good gain for NOLA Gold up into the 22-meter area of the Toronto Arrows.
Gold moving that ball very, very nicely across the pitch, but the Arrows right there with in-your-face defense. They're not waiting to catch them. They are getting right up there and hitting them. And of course, the nature of this game, any one of those hits can cause a turnover. That ball can come loose. You go to ground. If your guys aren't there to defend the ball in your ruck, to win the ruck, that could easily become an Arrows ball. There's so many ways that the momentum can shift in this game, as we've already seen a few of them.
We're having our second for hydration break of the match, so we'll be back in 60 seconds, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Version, though.
Primetime Sports features the biggest sports and entertainment stars from Louisiana and the entire Gulf Coast region. I'll bring you the weekly in-depth interviews with players, coaches, local musicians and artists, and much more. Catch new episodes Tuesdays at 7 right here on CST.
And we are back from the break. NOLA Gold having an opportunity to score, and they've just knocked the ball on, so the Arrows can breathe a sigh of relief. It's a close one here, 24 points to 19 in favor of the Gold. Had to handle an onslaught comeback by the Arrows finally got themselves back up into Arrows territory. Ian.
Forward's delight right here, a scrum to determine who gets to keep this ball moving. It is the Arrows ball, but that doesn't mean the Gold can't take it from them. Anything can happen in the scrum. Gold's been really good in the lineouts. The scrums we haven't seen so much of so far in this game. Most end in a whistle from the ref. Let's see what happens here. This is key.
Ian McNulty salivating the prospect of a complete scrum, and we have one. Toronto
Chalked that one up for the scrum lovers out there. That was a beauty.
Back on the short side against the grain is Toronto. Over their 22, the box kick coming in from Ferguson, sending it high toward the sideline, goes out on the full, and he was outside his 22-meter area, which means the ball will come back. Elof looking to play quickly, leaves the ball behind so they can settle down now. Ian, maybe you want to just explain what happened there with the kick going out in the full and why we are back here for the line out.
Yeah, you know that you can do some damage with your foot. You can really pick up a lot of ground with some of those kicks, but sometimes you can do some damage to yourself if the ref determines it hasn't gone far enough. And in that case, it came right back to where he kicked from in NOLA Gold's hands. We just saw there. A bit of sloppy play, ball kind of sliding all over the place. And again, it's a very dry day out here. This is a crystal clear day, great temperatures, not too windy. There's no real weather impacts on what's happening here on the pitch. Back to a scrum to get this thing started again. And look where we are. The Arrows are defending again, just in front of their 22. NOLA Gold will be looking to take this ball away if they possibly can, or maybe force some kind of turnover. It's the Arrows ball. And the stands here, you can hear some chanting coming up. This is the hometown team for New Orleans, of course. It's a nice group of former players, rugby enthusiasts, curious neighbors, little kids, all ages. It's a beautiful day to be out here for some rugby, and they're getting a show, that's for sure. This is turned into a completely different game in the second half, much to the Arrows' delight, and adding quite a bit of suspense for NOLA Gold fans.
It's just another uncharacteristic error from the Gold. Results in a scrum feed to Toronto. They win the scrum, send it down to Elof. He looks to run, quick hands out to Foley, who brings it back into safety. It's good play from the experienced Australian. And the replacement Falcon gets a touch. He's on for Biden's. Bailey, good running. Brought down just inside their half. And hands now out to Striffler. Well, Striffler's moved from centre to flanker this season as Jobo gets a run from Johannesburg originally. Played some Curry Cup and Super Rugby for the Cheetahs. Dolan out wide where he loves to be.
Oh boy, that's frustrating. You can see he's hanging his head a little bit there. He's got to get that head back up if he's. But that was disappointing. That ball was bobbled all over the place. Looks like it went off of an Arrows player back into his hands. But of course, the ref's going to blow that one up. That's the fourth knock-on for NOLA this half, which we didn't see much of in the first half, and that was sort of what was undoing the Arrows play in the first half. So gotten a little messier with the ball here, and as the clock starts winding down, every one of those errors is going to be a factor.
Hey, you're right, Ian. They seem to have reversed roles, these two teams. Toronto with a team struggling with the ball in hand, putting the ball down a lot, unforced it on many occasions, and now it's NOLA, after showing such great accuracy and patience in attack, now seem to be struggling somewhat in this second half. They might have won the scrum against the head. They have, and could be a penalty as well, so they play on. Just kicking in behind. Penalty to NOLA. Fantastic scrum for them.
See, that's what happens, as you described earlier, Mark, that scrum, 8 big, strong men, biggest men on the pitch from each side, coming together, locking in, bound in as tight as they could possibly get, coming together to compete for that ball. Once the ball goes in, who knows what's going to happen to it? Any ball that enters that scrum is anybody's ball. The hookers, the guys being held up in the middle by the props, just hooking with their feet, trying to get that ball for their side. NOLA Gold comes up with it. Great defensive scrum for them, and a good turnover.
Under 15 minutes left to play here in New Orleans. NOLA Gold with a narrow lead, 24 points to 19. We're in for a blockbuster finish here.
Great kick for space by NOLA, too. They keep the ball for their line out, which they've been exceptional at all game.
Hold it for me. Hold it, Captain.
Eric Howard gets it in at the back of the line out this time. Dolan on the spot yet again, and now through the hands of the backs. Here comes Howden. He beats one, sends it inside to Jobo. Brought down 5 meters from the line. Here come the Gold. Numbers out to the left, through the hands again. Great tackle from the Arrows, but they are under pressure. Need to get it out quickly. It looks like a professional foul. Youngert piling in now, the white jerseys just picking and driving now close to the line. The Arrows holding firm. It's the try that the Gold have been looking for in this half. Howden sending it out. It's Elof. Beats one. No, dummies, goes through. What a beautiful try!
Oh, that is
JP Elof.
gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. That was what we call combined arms. If this was a military campaign, that was the Army and the Air Force working together. That was a grinding attack by the forwards, one phase after the other, knocking on the door, absorbing those defenders, and then finally, when the time's right, shipping that ball way out to your backs who are set up. And that was a great run by Vince Jobu right at the beginning to set that up. Great to see Vince Jobu on the field. This is his second year with the team, but did not play last season after he tore his Achilles preseason. Real heartbreaker for him, but he's got to be pretty pleased with that run, setting up his mates for, again, that long, prolonged attack on the Arrows try line. I loved seeing the forwards knocking it in, just trying to soak up. If you can get that try, if you can make that extra meter and get it, awesome. If not, you're wearing down the defenders. That's brutal work up there to try to stop a runner when he's right on your try zone. It sucks in the defenders. Everyone wants to be right there. It's a battle for inches, and eventually get it out to the backs for the strike.
Well, as they set for the conversion, by the way, JP Elof, the leading scorer of the team last season, 5th leading in the league despite missing 4 games, gets his first try of the day as Scott Gale sets up for a pretty difficult conversion right here. Yeah,
he was lucky to get that try there, and that was a fingernail kind of try that he got. He wasn't going to be too picky about where it went in. But he gave his kicker a decent shot. We've seen some harder kicks made so far today. Does he make it? Yes.
Good. That's huge right there.
That's good, and that is very big indeed for Gold, Scott, because that puts him up to 31-19.
Hey, stay connected with CST online. Hey, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and visit our website, coxsportstv.com, for the latest sports news and information. Find out about CST programming and check out our broadcast schedule. You can also watch exclusive videos on our YouTube channel. Log on today.
12-point lead for Gold now. They have never been down in this game. But as we've seen in the opening of this half, a lot can change very quickly, and this Arrows team has come out determined and very fiery to have this be their game, put themselves in contention very quickly.
Ball comes down in the hands of Tom Dolezal for the Arrows. Under pressure there. Mike Shepherd does well. The goal just pouring through. They want to protect this lead. They are attacking in defense right now. Good flat pass from the Arrows. Need a quick response if they're to get back into this game. Coming up to only 10 minutes left. Try scorer Dan Moore has been instrumental in Toronto's comeback today. Steve Ing heading forward. Little by little, here come the Arrows again. This has been an entertaining second half, to say the least. Now almost up to the 22-meter area of NOLA Gold. Arrows doing a much better job of holding the ball, and straight through. Oh, he's got a brilliant pass and caught by Shepherd. And now 3 meters from the line, the Arrows into the middle of the field. The replacement, Ing. So close. The Arrows need to score right now. And they're back in the game. Over the top, nearly an intercept. And that deflection was enough to keep it out of the hand, but they're still alive. Here come the Arrows. It's going to be a try. No.
Blown up.
Whistle.
Looks like it was blown up before.
Referee coming back. Is he coming under the post? Looks like a penalty try.
Deliberate knock.
Batted down, yes it is. Penalty try to the Toronto Arrows. Deliberate knockdown, and he deemed that would have been a certain try had the ball not been interfered with. Wow, controversial stuff here. 31 points to 26. What a finish, Ian.
But again, that ref's discretion right there. You know, if Gold had plucked that ball out of the air and run with it, it would have been a great interception. As it was not. It was he knocked the ball. And they call that intentional and sort of diffusing what would have been a certain try, so the ref awards it to him.
Hey, get the best in golf, South Sports Talk by tuning in to CST Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central. After further review with Matt Moscona, what a great show. I watch it every day. Get Matt's take on local sports and all your favorite teams. That's every weekday from 3 to 6 right here on CST.
Okay, so they wasted no time at all making that conversion, which makes it a 5-point game again. Gold 31, clinging to a narrow lead over the ever-defiant Toronto Arrows. Not giving anything up here on defense or offense. A scrappy game, as promised.
The Arrows looking to improve on their score and possibly take this game. They are within striking distance of a draw, at least. But it's NOLA, and a clever little kick from Blewett. Hasn't scored. Unbelievable! Nowhere. The ref says yes. The crowd can't believe it. I can't believe it. What just happened?
That was incredible, Mark. That is the kind of play you live for as a rugby player. The rugby gods were certainly with Gold for that very moment. Everything had to go right for them. Everything had to go wrong for the Arrows, and that's exactly what happened. Watch how this comes together. It's from that deflected kick, just like in football, the blocking the punter, right? They're trying to get it out of their territory, could not. That ball goes loose. Looks like it was about to go out of bounds. Did not. And Gold was there to scoop it up. It bounced into their try zone, and Gold pounced on it. That was Tristan Blewett, our South African first year.
You just took the words out of my mouth, the South African import. By the way, they call him the Wild Man because he's all over the pitch. He is the home run hitter, and Mark, you just saw why.
He did the 22-year-old from Durban.
Wow,
Sharks Academy. And brilliant. He's been playing well all game, this game, showing brilliant attacking skill, but equally in defense. Tristan Blewett, he's been instrumental in both offense and defense for NOLA. And what about the soccer skills there, Ian, just to tow that forward?
Oh, that's rugby right there for you. The brutality of a bull and the finesse of a slithering snake, just getting that, towing that line around the edge and just knocking it in when necessary. Oh, so fantastic. It does set up a very tricky conversion, however. As you can see, he's got a pretty narrow angle on that goal. But looks like he gets it. No, strike that. It was short. No good.
A little short by Scotty Gale, but hey, catch your favorite outdoor shows on CST. Hey, beginning Wednesday and all the way through Sunday morning, CST brings you a variety of shows that include the best tips on fishing and hunting in the South. Visit coxsportstv.com to get a full listing of your shows and air times. CST is your leader in Gulf South sports.
We have not had a change in who's leading this game. It's been NOLA Gold the whole time, but God, the Arrows have to keep threatening.
John Sheridan stepping in, doing really well. Here's the replacement scrum half. Riley Donato gets it now to his troops in the midfield. Ozol through the hands now. That's Colby Francis, the youngster, 21 years of age, in Brantford, Ontario. Referee playing advantage now. He saw an infringement in there. Dan Moore yet again gets his hands on the ball. Coming midfield, looking, holds onto it. There's Sam Malcolm taking the ball to the defense. Placements being extremely busy now. That's a great run from Morgan Mitchell. Coming back to that penalty. Now it's another one, playing advantage still, and ball through the hands. They have numbers out left. Here they come, the Arrows. They need this now. There's still an opportunity to take this game. Less than 5 minutes. It is possible, and they're up over the 5-meter line. Toronto Arrows. The NOLA home crowd is silent on the edge of their seats. They've got numbers, they've got space. Looks like an easy try if he can get there. Great defensive effort, but it looks like he's over the line. The referee says yes, with the assistance of the assistant referee. The Arrows, they're back.
Wow, you see, this is textbook. This is textbook scrappy match here. That was John Sheridan coming in, bringing that in, not taking no for an answer, gets hit, bounces around, keeps moving. Watch this play. Hits the ground. Oh, he has the ball, recovers it nicely. He's there to put it down. That was a lot of things could go wrong with that play, but he willed it to be a try, and the ref says yes. Gold didn't quite think he made it, but the refs say yes, and that's a try for the Arrows. We've seen so much scoring in these last few minutes.
Yeah, about to say the action just got fast and furious. That's 4 tries in less than 20 minutes, Mark.
Well, I think what you're seeing here is both offenses being really eager to make their mark, especially the Arrows. They know it's at stake here. They know every possession matters. And, of course, after a nice long game, that is no good. That conversion's no good for the Arrows, which gives NOLA Gold a little more breathing room. 5-point lead.
That's a big miss.
But again, well, the offense is desperate to make things happen. When you're playing defense, it's exhausting. You've been out here almost 80 minutes. You see more tries happen in games like this later on because the defense just isn't always there to make that complete stop.
So, JP Eloff, the vice captain, will restart. Under 3 minutes left to play. 36 points to 31. Blewett can't bring that one in. It's not forward.
Oh, that's a rough break for NOLA Gold. That looked like another one of those acrobatic plays that we just saw a few minutes earlier to give them that try. Of course, Tristan Blewett coming in, almost taking that ball away from the Arrows, waiting in reception, but unfortunately was knocked instead of taking clean. And so it'll be Arrows ball with a scrum.
We mentioned the importance of conversion kicks. The fact that last one was missed after the try by Sam Malcolm keeps it at a 5-point deficit. Had he put that kick over, then it would only take a 3-point penalty or drop goal to equalize, and if they score the try, they could take this game at the death. So what it means now, if Toronto are able to get back and score the try, they can only equalize, and they will need the conversion kick to win the game. And they have possession right now, bringing it out. Plenty of space out there. Good passing, good running. Lloyd brings it back in toward his support on the 40-meter line. The Arrows looking to snatch this victory from the home team. They've been in front, as Ian McNulty has pointed out, the entire game. But can the Arrows take it when it's needed and when it counts? Might be a turnover, play on. Still with the Arrows. Dolezal taking it forward. Desperate defense from NOLA. They want to stay disciplined and not creep too much offside. The try scorer flicks it out the back, needs to come into play, does well. Milazzo. It's going to come back. What has the referee said? Something going on in back play. Looks like there was an exchange between Tristan Blewett and the replacement and try scorer John Sheridan.
There certainly was. They're giving each other kisses now, which I don't think is a full apology, but maybe lets them move things forward.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, sort of a extracurricular activity there. Crowd, of course, the home crowd doesn't like it one little bit. The result of that was that the Arrows got the ball on a penalty kick and have set themselves up just past the halfway mark with the ball for this line out. Now, NOLA Gold has been really good in the line out. In fact, they've taken quite a few of them, at least 4 away from the Arrows thus far. This will be a key one with very short time now, very short time. Looking at just a minute in regulation without what the ref may have in his pocket.
Well, it's an exciting finish here. Under a minute to play. The crowd is on their feet here at the grandstand. The Arrows, can they do it? Can they snatch victory at the death? Through the hands now, it's gone too far out in front. The crowd cheer. It's knocked on and over the sideline. that could be the last play of the game. And it is goal. The goal from NOLA. The home team, they've done it. They've held on. What a fantastic opener for the home team here in New Orleans, and an exciting match all round.
That was one of my favorite kind of rugby games to watch, Mark. It was close, it was tight. The arrows looked like they were out. Really, it looked like they were out of it at the end of the first half. They come roaring back, constantly threatening. Gold answers, and at the very end of the game, the arrows have the ball in hand. They have an opportunity to score, to tie, to possibly win. Unfortunately for them, this play right here does it. That was off of his fingertips, and gosh, he's going to remember that one. He wants that one back really badly. But at the end of the day, NOLA Gold hangs tough, keeps that 5-point lead. A very well played, well fought game.
My first full game and match in the booth for rugby has been a dandy, 36-31. We'll be right back to talk about the game. What a glorious day at Gold Stadium. Welcome back to NOLA Gold Rugby on CST. What a finish. 36-31 Gold. 6 different tries from 6 different players. Scotty Gale started off, Tim Maupin, Eric Howard, Con Foley, JP Eloff, but the biggest of the game. The match was Tristan Blewett, our player of the game.
Yeah, definitely deserving of the MVP, the player of the game, Tristan Blewett, originally from South Africa. Plenty of touches, but this is the one here that broke the camel's back. Seemed to come out of nowhere. The original kick toward Blewett, and then he had the presence of mind to come through, and that's not an easy kick and an oval-shaped rugby ball, let me tell you.
Listen, you never know which way that thing is going to bounce. It can be beguiling. You can have your sights set on it, but no, he was not letting that out of his grasp. He saw what he had to do, pounced on it, good presence of mind, like you said, but the ability to pull that off, to thread the needle, to be there, to be not let that ball go out of bounds, which would have been horrible at the back of the try zone for them, a wasted opportunity. They seized it. That was a thrilling play.
Well, of course, that wasn't the only reason we selected him as player of the game. He's been instrumental all game, right, Scott? You saw him, the way that he tackles, the way that he attacks with the ball, his skill. He's certainly a player of the future here for NOLA.
Well, everybody said he had the 80-minute motor. That was towards the end of the game. He looked like he was starting the game. He had such energy, aggressive for his size. He's tough. He'll hit anyone. These are comments that were made. The one big thing, they called him every single player on on this team said, we call him Wild Man for a reason, and Ian, we just saw why.
And what a game. What a game that was to kick off our season. Look what's coming up next. We've got a home stand here for the next few weekends for NOLA Gold, taking on the Glendale Raptors, Seattle Seawolves, Rugby United New York, their first season in MLR. That's all at home, all in a row.
So get out here soon, because listen, after the next 3 weeks we have home games. It's going to be a month away for the next home game. Hey, Mark, thank you for breaking me in. It's been quite a pleasure, Mark Sabina.
Pleasure.
What a debut. What a great game to see. I mean, packed with scoring, all tries. We didn't have to settle for any penalty kicks. It was thrilling. We saw forwards do it. We saw the backs do it. A combined effort. Wonderful game.
Hey, got to thank you all here. What a great way to start. Come out and join us. Hey, thanks for joining us for NOLA Gold Rugby. For Scott Alexander. Well, I'm Scott Alexander. For Mark Sabina and Ian McNulty. The final score, 36-31 Gold. They're 1-0 in the season.